So when we train, we actually have to train. That means we have a goal in mind. It should be the next thing you need in the progression of your skill. And everything we do should be oriented towards the attainment of that skill. That is training, okay? Practicing is when you're just doing something over and over again. We don't want to practice, okay? So as I mentioned on the thread, you don't want to accumulate bad reps because that's what you get good at. You're only good at what you repeat. The universe doesn't know the difference between that was a bad rep or this was a good rep. It just reinforces whatever you were doing, okay? This is one reason why, again, at the micro level, if I'm constantly daily practicing contestation, I get pretty freaking good at contestation. And so I spend more time practicing contestation, less time practicing non-contestation. It's going to be very hard to get good at non-contestation, all right? Hence all the 4 disciplines, hence the bedrock practices, because they fill up your day with the problem of non-contestation. And we're not unconsciously or consciously repeating more reps in contestation. Okay? So likewise, when we're doing this, we can't keep doing the wrong stuff. So as I've mentioned before, when I teach shooting to people and they will not do the fundamentals as I'm telling them, we're just done. We're done because you're just wasting ammunition right now and you're getting good at doing crappy shit, okay? It's a lot different in law enforcement because we have like that paramilitary organization and we get to get in their face, and they go, what's the matter? You got a problem with me? All right, you eyeballing me now? And all that kind of stuff. Why don't you just do what I say? You got a character issue? Okay, we're not going to do that. But what we do is like what coaches do. And coaches will reel you in and get you and dial you in, okay? Your good coaches, like Tristan, I told you, like he's playing with that one coach, Coach Reed, and he needs Tristan to get to another level of play. And it's this combination somewhere in between law enforcement, paramilitary, and your good coach who's going, we're going to work on what we need to work on, okay? But he did eventually make Tristan go, hey, Tristan, you're like a black hole, Tristan, you're a black hole, because he wants him to pass the ball when he drives and he gets a 3-on-1. He wants him to find the open man. And he's all, Tristan, you're a black hole. And he kept saying, he's all, Tristan, come over here. Tell me, coach, I'm a black hole. Coach, I'm a black hole. Okay, got the idea? All right. So we have to float somewhere around in there. But I want you to be very conscious of what we're doing and why we're doing so that you can go home and work on this stuff with your people, okay? So what were we feeling in this drill? Anything at all? Bring it to a conscious level. Yes?
It felt like the more I relaxed, my hands kept shaking.
Okay. Let's see. Let's go. Okay, stop. Go back. Again. Freeze. Okay. Is there any pressure on you right now? Just a tiny bit. Everyone understand how low the spinal displacement is right now? Does your pinky normally do that? Okay, so probably not, but there's already tension in the tendon. Do you see that? But we're not aware of it, okay? So we'll bring some awareness to it. Okay, and again, real quick from yesterday, as he's driving, drive. My hand shape, what's on the other side of the grip, in no way can maintain positional integrity. Does everyone understand that? What's on the other side of his grip is not helping my wrist stay in space in the same place. It's not possible. It doesn't have a jet engine that's pulling me that way. Do you understand? Yet, in my unconscious contestation, I am bringing flexion into this that has nothing to do with that. Do you got it? Does that make sense? Okay. Here's, though, extend that idea. I'm here like that. That was not necessary. This flexion was not necessary. And what I want to put before you is this forearm flexion is not necessary. So think about it. What does your forearm muscles do mechanically? Yes, it closes my fingers. Is the ability to close or open my fingers have anything to do with my wrist staying in the same vertical plane? It doesn't. Do you get it? But yet I flexed it. I flexed them. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay, now, what does my bicep and tricep muscles do to bend my arm, extend my arm? Does that have, is anyone trying to bend my arm or stop me from extending my arm in this drill? No, but I'm flexing them, okay? So what's happening is I enter into the contest station and I start overall flexing my muscles. That tension comes in, and it doesn't have anything to do. So my hand has nothing to do with that ability. My forearm has nothing to do with that ability. My tricep, bicep has nothing to do. Drive, drive, drive. What is keeping that in space, at a minimum, what I want you to understand, it's not any of these muscles. I have to risk releasing them, okay? Does that make sense? All right, so you're going to do the following drill. You're going to drive. He has to drive. I am going to shake my hand. I'm going to wiggle my fingers, okay? I'm going to shake my whole arm. Don't go so high because he'll lose, or so low, he'll lose the angle. Try to stay in there. You'll realize, if you can, my shoulders don't have anything to do with it either. Okay? Let's see what we feel. You may feel like, no way, I don't want to do that. If you get sensitive enough, you may feel like, that's where I feel I'm going to lose it. Okay? Let's bring consciousness to that feeling. Okay? All right, try it. How hard were you pushing? It's very hard, okay? You can see him slipping off the ground, okay? Go. Pay attention to your mind, what your mind is doing as you're doing all these drills. Push, push, push hard. Don't bring your wrist. My wrist isn't moving out of the vertical plane. So I'll try to be on this. Let me move you a little. I'll be on this line here. You see the grip? Okay. I'm not going in and out. I'm leaving it in space. It's staying in that space. Okay? All right, try it again. You're going to get tired, Uke. You're our trainer. We need you to push. If you need 2 hands, push with 2 hands. Doesn't matter. Change partners. So we have to watch this drill. You got to be careful with this drill. So I give you caveats, and it's like the coach is setting you up. Do it like this so we get the result we want, okay? So when I shook my arms, what did I say not to do? Not to make too big a deviation. The reason why is push, and you can see how you can get your power into it, right? Keep pushing. You're going to get tired. Keep pushing. But once I go like here, she can't ever get her power into it. Do you understand? So I'm not trying to take force off of her. So does that make sense? So when I'm shaking, she's driving. You could use 2 hands, okay? You can stand up. Yeah, I'm not trying to do an Aikido delevering of her. Do you understand? So I am feeling her. So I'm not going to go, and then she can't ever get her legs into it. Okay, so I have to stay where I feel the urge to flex. Do you understand? Otherwise, I can't work on the problem. Okay. All right. So try it again. Let's stand up. And again, Virginia, how hard were you trying to drive with your legs, right? Okay? It's hard. No, the naga is sitting down. Give your knees a break, Virginia. At a minimum, find your conscious level of your flexion. Should be loose. Okay, and then we'll do some more coaching. So switch roles. You're going to go, Rio. Okay. All right. Okay. We had some coaching yesterday. And freeze, Rio. Where does this deviate from yesterday? The elbow bend. Do you see that? And again, on when you submit your videos, I constantly say, right? Okay. So when he bends his arm to this degree, in order to keep his hand, the wrist grab, positionally in place, he's going to have to activate his triceps. Do you see? Because now he is tasking himself with, got to keep my arm extended. Does that make sense? Okay, so this is where the coach comes in. So we're here, and bend your arm again. Do you see? Okay, and I expose that to him. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm not going to sit here, go, and let him do that, and then I hang out here. Do you feel that difference? See his relaxation there? What was I told to do as Uke, the trainer? Push. Okay, so you got to watch this. It's a modern Aikido thing, right? You're so used to cooperating, but this is not. We want a contest so that I know how to non-contest. Does that make sense? So you have to pay attention. The instructor said, get up and drive. Use two hands if you want. Hey, you don't have enough power. Get up and use your legs. You got to pull and deduce. What's he want from me? Okay? All right, try it again. That didn't take very long to expose, Andrew. And then you feel what you feel, okay? I want you to bring your consciousness to that level. Finger tension. Derek, use two hands. Feel where you feel your tension, your flexion. You might not be conscious of it till it actually hurts. But prior to the hurting, there was a flexion. Does that make sense? So, okay, I didn't feel the flexion, but that's seizing up, that's fatiguing, that's cramping. That actually hurts my old injury. Okay, note it and try to feel the flexion that happened right before that, okay? Once you feel the flexion, I don't want you to go to the pain part. Just, okay, let go, get out of the technique. We're just trying to bring it to conscious level, okay? Go. Fix your head, Chris. Okay, go back. All right, freeze. Don't move. Don't move. Okay, no pressure though. Where is the deviation from yesterday's training? No, that's not important. We didn't even talk about that yesterday. Not just so important here. Do you see that? Do you see the angling? Okay. The shoulders are, this one's forward. Do you got it? Okay. Now, why? There's something else. He's obviously trying not to be turned. Do you see that? So he contested against the turn that he felt, okay? Now go to what's making him turnable. Because when we contest, we start the whole rippling, right? The pebble in the pond. Just as we have the non-contestation and it ripples out, the contestation ripples out too. So you're going to see where this is being exacerbated by something that he did from the very start.
Not drop down.
No. Come and look around the body. What were the instructions yesterday? Where's his elbow related to his shoulder? It's outside the shoulder. Do you see that? And that generates this. Do you see? So let me in. See his elbows out here. And so if I just push, because I gripped on the outside, I didn't grip here, make a fist. I'm not gripping here. There has to be a slight yes, but yes. So you'll feel it now. Yeah. Do you see? Okay. And again, my coach should have just been able to do that. But what's happening is when you're down, you feel your own flexion and you feel like you're doing something. You need to do as Uke, the same thing he's doing. He is letting energy go down. I let energy go down, and that's what's moving. And you can feel that shoulder biting now. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, so let's have another team go. I don't care who, go, watch. Down. Okay, stop. Do you see the angle? Again, we're already in the contestation. Do you see that? Trying to get here. Okay? There's already a weakness in the torso, in the spine. So don't move. You don't move. Now let go. Do you see it? Okay? So your first thing is you're relaxing, right? But what were we told yesterday? Releasing is not relaxing. I can't go like this. What were we told in Zazen my spine has to do?
Be straight and be suspended.
Reaching up. You can't, if you relax, it doesn't do it. So you have no energy going through your spine, okay? And which you can expose, okay? All right, so my point here is that all these things are showing up, but I'm just not conscious of them. Just like I'm not conscious of the habitual flexion I have all day against the gravity that's working on me, do you see? And I never feel the rebounding force or the pressing up of the earth. I never feel those forces, okay? But imagine in your art that's one with the universe, we're supposed to be able to feel those forces. And if I can feel them, I can use them. Do you see? And that's where, and if I can use them, then I don't have to use these other forces that make me waste energy and things like that. Okay? So let's all get to a conscious level so we can answer the question again, where's my flexion? Okay? All right, go for it. And we already know release is not relax. The spine is reaching upward. We want our elbow inside our outer rim. Not too much bend on that arm, Rio. Extend it more, extend it more. If you need them to do less pressure, do less pressure. If you need more pressure, do more pressure. If I bend my arm, I have to use my triceps. So just a slight bend. Too much arm bend. Good. Coach each other. Look for hand flexion. Look for shoulder pushing in. Look for the biceps. Too much bicep, extend more. And leave your hand in that position. Okay. Where are you flexing against the spinal displacement? Where? Where do you feel it? Bicep, shoulder, hand, right? Where do you feel it? Okay. Where do you feel it? Okay. Got it? All right. What we have to do is when we feel that tension is we have to release it like in Zazen. Okay? That is a macro version of the gravity that is working on us in Zazen. We just made everything grosser, okay? Like in the face of that gravity, I release tension. In some way, I don't ever fall. I get to stay in this mountain shape, okay? Same thing's going to happen here, but it's very hard to believe in it, okay? So I will make the following point. Shape does not matter, okay? But shape will assist you at the beginning. because of this faith requirement. Okay, so as I demonstrated yesterday, he's driving, and it kind of looks like I'm doing skeletal alignment. Do you understand? Okay, but I'm not. He can. Where's the skeletal alignment? That should go way back here. This should start to burn. Does that make sense? He's pushing. There's no skeletal alignment. You can move just as freely. Try to flex. Oh, everything starts to burn. Okay? Same thing we were doing yesterday. He's driving. The posture that I'm in isn't necessary at all. Staying still is not necessary either, okay? So the takeaway here is the form is not important, but we'll use form to help cultivate the faith we need to let go of the muscle tension and eventually the skeletal alignment, okay? The other reason for understanding form, and this is very important, is energetically, form is not important. Martially, form is very important. If, for example, energetically this works, martially this does not work, okay? So for martial reasons, I do want to understand how to organize my body, okay? And this is going to get you in the ballpark. 1, never let your elbow go outside your shoulder, okay? Adding to yesterday's class, if my hand tension has nothing to do with my wrist positional integrity, my forearm tension has nothing to do with it, my tricep, so come on over, Rio. Okay. He's driving, and you squeeze. Is they're mushy as hell, like my mom was. She was 80. Okay, like, man, mom, get some muscle, right? It's very mushy. It has nothing to do with positional integrity. Where would you say the positional integrity is? I know it's not here. It's not here. It's not here. What if this moves? Do you understand? He goes. I lost it. It moved, okay? What's keeping this? Where does this want to go? Is my shoulder going to blow off and go backwards, and that's why this moved? No, it rotates around my spine. Do you see that? Okay? That's why if I keep my spine reaching, the muscles that affect that extension go, also stop the rotation. The shoulder becomes unified, and it's like there's a board across my back, okay? The shoulders martially are a very weak point, a very weak point. Yes, lots of movement, but lots of movement means loss of structural integrity. Loss of structural integrity is where energy could leak out, okay? I was watching a wrestling coach, and the athlete, he's at Olympic level, the athlete made a big deal out of natural movement. And he would do all those kind of, what's that guy's name? Ido Portal. Okay, if you've seen him, they're moving, like they pretend they're cats and they move like cats and things. And it was supposed to translate into he would be highly mobile in wrestling. And later what happened is that he was very prone to injury with that mobility because there was a loss of stability. And what they ended up doing was compound lifting him, which builds structural integrity, which we said yesterday, okay? Where on those spine alignment muscles, okay? Those spine alignment muscles are different from these muscles. I can barely feel them. That's part of the problem, do you see? And so I can barely experience them. And so they don't do the same thing to my body, mind, to my consciousness when I'm flexing my shoulders and my arms and things like that. Although you're going to drive, I'm flexing, and then I'll start to release everything. Okay? And I'm now relaxed. I don't feel he's not going to push me anywhere. And I don't feel the need to hurry up and get out of this situation. Okay? So there is some muscular use. They're very hard to become aware of. I would imagine some of them are even involuntarily controlled. Okay? Meaning if you go to flex them, you're going to flex the other muscles. If you task yourself with just extension, kind of unconsciously, you're using them, okay? But that's what keeps the shoulder in place, and that's why yesterday I could keep the elbow in place because it's the shoulder in place. If we go here, it's the same thing. He cannot make that happen, okay? And when I understand what that's doing, he's driving, I can move, and he can't do it, and I can come back, and he can't do anything about it, okay? So it has nothing to do with this. It has nothing to do with this. Nothing to do with this. It does have to do with this, but not that here, and dealing with the Marshall problem of a ball and socket joint and learning how to stabilize it to my core, okay? All right, so here's what we're going to do to get us in the ballpark. You're going to form Lao Gong. It looks like that. There's a couple key things to note. There's a cup in the middle of your palm that you could pour water and it would stay there, okay? That cup, though, is not formed by me curling my metacarpals. The metacarpals, these bones in my hand, are extending until I feel that tension came into the forearm. Dial it back. This hand shape and the forearm tension is not there, and you get mushy arms, okay? It looks like that. The next thing is the palm, that cup, is in skeletal alignment with your forearm, with your elbow, with your shoulder. So he's here. What would be incorrect is my fingers are in alignment with the elbow. And you don't want to do that. I'm going to watch what I do. I'm going to move Lao Gong into that elbow alignment. Do you see where I'm at? Okay. Boom. I'm here. The elbow's never outside my shoulder. Okay? And now I just have to figure out how much extension is on the arm. So we did yesterday's drill. He stood up. And I want you just to bend over 90 degrees with your thumbs pointing towards me. And the natural bend in his arm is katate dori. He's not going to extend his arms. Extend your arms, please. That was hyperextension. And he's not going to hold them against gravity, too much bend. He just relaxes. That natural bend, he keeps. Come back into position with that natural bend. He fixes Lao Gong. He brings the elbow in alignment with the shoulder. He extends the spine to subconsciously control those muscles that are given spinal integrity. And he now releases the tension that he's feeling. Okay? Got it? All right, let's do it a little differently. Put your arm with your bend. Let's do this one. That's not going to work. He's going to want to extend against it. He puts his elbow out. He's going to feel that pressure and this weak point at this part. He puts his hand here like that. He's going to over-rely on skeletal alignment. And so he's going to push that shoulder forward like he is. You see that? Okay, so coach each other. You all know what we're looking. Lao Gong, elbow in, okay? Shoulder square. Extend the spine. It will unconsciously, subconsciously flex the muscles we need flexed, releasing the other muscles we don't want flexed. All right, go for it. Coach each other. If you can coach them, you can go back home and train yourself. You have to activate those spinal muscles. Rio. I'm sorry, Angelo. But expose it to him. There it is. You see the tilts, okay? So extend up, pull the lats down, but extend up and watch the head. Fix the Lao Gong. Relax. Keep extending the spine. Keep dropping the chin. And start to release the tension without moving in space. Good. Activate the spinal muscles by Daikin Zazen. Reach up with the spine. Fix his Lao Gong alignment. His elbows out. More extension. Good. Good. More extension. Okay, so what I'm seeing is, and you should be able to see, I'm the coach, but I can see it. I want you to see. Everyone's pushing a lot harder, okay? Now, give some faith, make a faith wrist, leap off the edge of the cliff, and start releasing those muscle tensions wherever you can now feel it, okay? All right, try it, go. Get yourself in the ballpark, and then start releasing the arm, the hand. You can't release the spine. Your spine keeps reaching up. Yes, very good, Angelo. Tilt your head. Risk it. Let the tricep go. Extend a little more. There you go. So you keep that natural bend. Anywhere you can feel tension, anywhere is good. Release it. More extension, Virginia, on those arms. You got to coach, Virginia. Extend more, Derek. Good. Okay, you keep pushing. This hand has nothing to do with anything. So release that hand. Okay? Keep your chin to pull on the spine with the crown of the head. Good. This chest has nothing to do with anything, so drop it. There you go. Keep it. No flexion here, has nothing to do with anything. You got to extend more. Okay. Much better. We'll go to two hands. So same exact thing. Careful you're not out here like that, because what did you do wrong? The elbows are outside. Do you see that? And now, martially, here comes the headbutt. boom. Here like this, elbows are inside, okay? Tries to headbutt, something's in the way, right? Here. So 2 Lao Gong, you're here, and you're doing the same, releasing. Okay, let's try it. Go. Your hands can go outside your shoulders. Your elbows cannot. Fix your Lao Gong alignment, not your fingers. Your fingers are not in alignment with your forearms. Your fingers are not in alignment with your forearms. Try to release tension. More extension. Lengthen the spine. Fix your chin and head. Release tension where you're feeling it. Lao Gong, fix it. Okay. Question.
I can't. Rio can get under me,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't get the energy back down again. I'm wondering what I'm doing wrong.
Okay, so is the shape important? No, okay. But it is when you're starting out, okay? So but let's look at that a little differently, okay? An opponent, so energetically, shape not important. Martially, opponents will make shape important all the time. So an opponent will try to get under you, okay? For example, in this case. I don't want us to go into what I today call Tai Chi land, where you're going to do an energetic solution for that, because the opponent experiences the energetics exactly like any external force. So whatever you're doing energetically, let's say, so he can't get under me energetically, they just continue to adapt. And it's very, very fast. So go to the Good Tai Chi article, and this is what I said happened. What happens, I pointed it out in the Sifu Nico video when he was against the wrestler. That is just what happens. And anybody who actually takes the energetics into another sport like wrestling or boxing or MMA, that's just what happens. Anyone that tries to arrest that 80-pound-year-old girl, that's what you just learned, okay? People adapt. That is the nature of resistance, okay? So let's deal with this a different way, because as your skill develops, you'll learn how to do this energetically, but let's get to a more martial thing, okay? So we do Kokyu-Ho, right? And normally you'll do something like that, right? Okay? Let's just have you practice Kokyu-Ho and see where we're at. Okay, go. You can do the pin, you can do the throw, it doesn't matter. Okay. So, Rio, come on. Concentrically, I should practice non-contestation all the way through. So energetically, we understood it. Meditatively, we understood it. We have to understand it martially as well. So we already mentioned from yesterday's class, I never actually push against that person. Do I have the capacity to do it, and do I test for it, like maintaining positional integrity? Yes, but I don't want to do it martially, okay? And again, this is the difference from the Tai Chi energetics, is they will push right back on the line of attack, the angle of attack, and just do it internally. But martially, no, we don't want to do it. We want to maintain concentrically the idea of non-contestation as a guiding principle for life, okay? All right, so as we go, there's the contestation right there. Do you see that? It's the same thing as when we drive that shoulder into him, into the partner on the push, okay? So again, so we go, that part right there is what we don't want. So if I have the internal skills, he gave yang aspect, and you'll be able to go. But usually what we do is no spinal displacement, but it's there. Do you see the opposition? Okay? And so it's not exposed, okay? We don't want to do that, okay? Because that's when I'm getting under you. Do you feel that? Okay? Does that make sense? Okay, so come back out. And we'll use Chris now. So this hand, I yield that way. This is your yin hand. If you pay attention to this, there's two yang hands. Do you see that? And my universe is concentric with yin-yang theory. I should never have two yang hands. Two yang hands are right away a contestation in me and obviously a contestation in him. So we have to learn the yin hand. And this is our outward spiral. So the elbow is going to move with my movement out of the way. He's driving. No. No. Too late. Too early. What do? I let him push my hand. As he's pushing my hand, what I do, though, is not that. As he pushes my hand, I yield to that push. Do you see how I'm doing that? Watch his spine. Too young. Do you see his spine? Is he balanced? Is his line of gravity in his base of support? The answer is yes. What do you think? He's not balanced, okay? So again, you do this in a fight, the dude adjusts, because he can, because he's balanced. Balance right away. How? By non-contesting the spinal displacement, okay? Your angle of articulation should not change. It will only change because it got pressed, just like the boken yesterday, remember? So I have to non-contest my angle will not get compromised at all. And it's effortless, okay? All right, let's try it. The yin hand of Kokyu-ho. The spine is doing the same thing. The tissue off the spine is doing the same thing. Do a slow, steady press. Don't bend your elbow. He needs to push, Sean, and you should have told him that. Okay, let's watch. I'm not pulling him. Ugh. If I were to pull him, which muscle group am I using? The outer deltoid, back deltoid. It's very weak, okay? I am going to rotate around the contestation point. We're here. Then I move my body. You see that? I don't ever take the elbow outside my outer rim. So because of where I am as the axis of rotation, that is different from this. This is still in alignment with the shoulder. Don't pull here, you just went outside it, okay? Boom, then drive with your body. Too late, the contestation. Notice how much the spine is moving the shoulder, not the arm moving inside the ball and socket joint. There's a timing issue to it. And it's effortless, okay? Try it. Don't use that outer back deltoid. The spine is doing the same as in the other drills. Don't move your body. Don't move your stance. You move your spine. Yes, yes. Now, and start releasing the tension, just like in the other drill. You just can't release the spinal tension, okay? Which we don't control, okay? There you had a little outer deltoid there. He's got to push, okay? Are you going to pull? Release the tension. Okay. So in other words, how much tension I feel in Zazen, in here, it shouldn't change because he's attacking me. It doesn't change, okay? But it's not that, okay? All right, so pay attention martially what's happening. When I do the inward spiral, it is already starting to tilt on him. When I take the elbow and bring it to the inside, as I would on, the outward spiral, it gets that tilt going. Do you see? When you come around like this, no tilt, no tilt, no tilt, no tilt. Now I get a tilt. Do you see that? What we're trying to do here is do something to him, cut down. But if you pay attention, no kazushi, and now you're going to have to use your lats. Do you see that? Instead, I go around the contention point until I'm now going in the direction of the force, okay? And that is done by rotating, but getting out of the way. Don't cut down. Let it keep going until I match its direction. So I am not cutting his arm down. His arm is lowering because the kazushi is lowering his shoulder. So I don't have to press on his arm. I just have to tilt his spine and stay up with his hand. Do you see that difference? So I never even had to do tricep or lat pressure either. Boom, pop. Okay, try it again. It should feel effortless, except for the attentiveness for your spine. Keep tilting his spine. Don't cut his arm down. Turn your elbow under. Turn your elbow under. Less lat. You want your hand to go that way, not that way. Okay? Bring your elbow underneath towards your center line. Less deltoid. You keep your spine erect though. Turn your elbow under. That's it. That's it. So here. If I go like that, see, there's the contesting. But if I turn like this, that's what I want. Then I got to get out of the way. So that energy that's coming, that's what I get out of the way. No. Got to get out of the way of that. Turn my elbow down. Okay? Try it again. Turn your elbow down, get out of the way. You should end up palm up, not knife edge down. Yes. Turn your elbow down, get out of the way. Palm up. Keep your spine strong. Palm up, not knife edge down. Elbow in, nope. Elbow in. Get out of the way, and get out of the way. Yep. Good. Good. Keep your spine, fix your spine, lose the tension. Nope, outer deltoid. Use your torso to move. Your torso moves. Keep the shoulder down. Yep. Change partners. There is a groove. You need the groove. Martially, the shape matters. So time matters, okay? And so there's a time to do. The elbow has to go down. I have to yield. There's a time. There's a space-time. There's a my to everything, okay? I can't do whatever. Okay, go. Turn the elbow in first. Don't bring the hand out first. Elbow in and yield, not one, then the other. Okay, I'm going to exaggerate one point before we go on. Is pay attention, 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, pay attention. Where'd my hand go? 8, okay? I know you smell it. Don't go for 9. Because people regain their balance. Got it? This is not the throw. He's just a weight. So I keep this going that way, okay? Try it again. Extend him out on that diagonal. So you have to move your torso to 8 and 4. Your torso goes to 8 and 4. Your palm is up, not down. Knife edge is not down. Move your torso to 8 and 4, not 2 and 10. Yes. Keep your arm bend the same. Watch that shoulder tension. There's a time. There you go. Watch the shoulder tension. You're looking for space because you're late. All right, here we go. Martially, what this allows me to do is I get out of the way of the line of attack. Do you see that? So normally, right, he stays on the line, I stay on the line. This is crazy. And again, if you were a cop and the bad guy did that to you, you'd go, oh, I'm losing, okay? Because you are. But in Aikido, he's on his toes, and now I could throw him. Do you get what I'm saying? But if you look, is his line of gravity inside his space of support? The answer is yes, okay? And that's where the rude awakening comes when you venture out. They just move. This is not on his toes. He lets go. He goes under. He goes over the top, okay? So likewise, when I do this, I'm clearing the line of attack. The angle of deflection goes the opposite way. Now you can see what I'm working with my torso for Kokyu-ho, because that is what throws everything through the kwa. So watch now, I'm doing the same movement, but it's the kwa that's doing everything, okay? So yield, I close the kwa over here. I let him pass, and I close the kwa over here. I am not using the outer deltoid. And I'm not using my waist either. I'm just going like this, making it Kokyu-ho. I'm training for Kokyu. Just push. Push. Push, push, push. Push. There you go. Push. 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 Come on. Push. You have one goal. There it is. That's it. That's all you're doing. You're not falling so high, right? Notice I'm doing this, not this, not this, okay? Let's fix it. Go. It's terrible. Grab and push. Grab and push. You got to close it again. Grab and push. Don't turn your waist. Close the quad. Don't change your elbow articulation. That's it. Don't change your elbow articulation. Oops. Then close it again. Full range of motion. It's conditioning. Oh, elbow bend. Go elbow in. Bring your elbow in first. Go around the contestation point. In and round. Yep. Your elbow's bending. All right. Once you get him here, this is where the yang hand comes in. So his body's going that way, but I'm going to send his center that way, okay? This is your X pattern without your base displacement. When I do this elbow, this hand is attacking the center. It's the quad that was closing this. Don't have your hand push. He's still heavy, okay? So my quad. So I end up here. You see how much angle and how you can't fit something there, okay? But again, effortless. Okay, try it. Close and open the quads. Keep your spine aligned. Go. Keep extending them to 4 and 8. Nope. You went to 3 and 9. Nope, you're at 3 and 9. Fix your feet. One hand is yin, one hand is yang. Elbows down. Good. Push your center to me with your quad. Good. Change partners. Hold yourself to the form. It's not that they're thrown, it's how they're thrown. That's training. Come over the top. Good. Good. Condition that quad. Good. Good. Watch your elbows. Watch your using your arms. Good. Good. No need to grab him. Don't waste energy. Just move the claw. Okay, so Travis, yesterday we did the inward spiral, right? He's driving and we came in. Remember that?
Right.
Okay, so that's what I'm doing right here. Don't try to turn him with your hands. That's not, I extend. Let me have you just body. I extend him, then I push that. Do you get it? It's a cross that I'm making, okay? When I push it, though, I don't use my arm. I maintain. There's his center. I push my claw. You see how I'm doing that? So careful you're not trying to turn him. That's going to get you in your shoulders. Outward spiral, inward spiral. Push. So when we push, you can't push and bend your elbows. Does that make sense? Yes? You're
Yeah.
You have to extend your arms. There you go. Everyone understand that? It's very common though. You want to muscle. He's nage. And you're here like that. Push. Good. Push. Come on. There you go. And grab like a snake. Okay? This is my conditioning. Okay? Not my arms, not my shoulders. So my elbows don't bend. That's the metric. Don't paint the turn. Yes, he's turning, but it's two, force this way, force that way from the claw. Okay? Here we go. Let's train, not practice. Go. Anchor your elbow on the inward spiral. There you go. From the claw. Claw. Get the yin hand more. Good. Turn that palm up on the yin hand. And come to 4 to 8. Yes, Travis, that's it. Good. Watch the elbow bend. Push your center. Push your center this way. Extend your arm. Don't turn them, Rio. The two hands are not on the same steering wheel. Yes, that's it. Good. Now start. I want you to look. I want you to train. Move that, okay? Good. Very nice. Good. Good. You got that little bend, so let's, Derek. Here's where the first reconciliation is. So if I go here, I'm going to bend. So the first reconciliation is on his grab, I turn it down. So he has a linear line, I go 90 degrees. Do you see that? Eventually, you'll hit that contestation point. Do you see that? But first, this goes yield. Before he hits that, that shoulder moves. You see that? I'm not trying to go around. That's a contestation there. And I'm not trying to dominate it. Right on the grab, I turn it. Before he hits the shoulder yields. I go around that. This is why it's effortless. What happened? Which part? The shoulder, okay? What happened? The elbow didn't go. Okay? Try it. Good. Two hands are doing something different. Change partners. Get that claw stronger. Elbow. Two hands are doing something different. One is yin, one is yang. Qua, qua, work the qua. Push your hands. Hi. Okay. Any questions, comments, observations? Try to bring everything to the conscious level. Okay, some of you felt my technique. You could comment on that too. You could raise any discussion point. The worst thing you could do is not bring any of this to the conscious level. Okay? Uh-huh.
On the left-hand side, she was falling onto me. Obviously, I was bringing her.
Uh-huh.
But I didn't find the solution for it.
Yeah, so my coaching, again, remember I said pay attention to the instructions that I'm giving you multiple times. And then quadruple your effort, because whatever you think is what I'm saying is not quite it, okay? So you can watch the video later. It was like, there's two hands, one's yin, one's yang. They're not doing the same thing, okay? How did this whole lesson start? Two yang hands in a normal Kokyu-Ho, right? This keeps their line of gravity inside their base of support, and you have to muscle and you contest. And if I go yang yang, we go yang yang, okay? So when you go with two, there's already a yang yang. There's no place for his spinal displacement to go. Does that make sense? There was no yin yield at all in that technique. Usually it's not problematic because the uke just grabs you without the spinal displacement. Do you see? We want the contest so that I get skilled in non-contestation. I don't really care that he's thrown. I care how he's thrown. Am I throwing him with the concentric theory of the art? Yin matches yang. Do not contest. Keep your spine erect. You should have no tension. You should have no exertion, right? So this has to go somewhere in his push. This doesn't let it go somewhere, okay? And in your technique, you still have, this is two yongs. I can tell you're trying to get around it, but it entered into a yang phase first, and it needs to enter into that yin phase first. Do you see that? And then this hand is not even me throwing the kwa. Just kind of go ahead a little. Here I wanted you to train the kwa because I want you to bring consciousness to the kwa. Grab, please. So I had you move the kwa to move him. What the art actually does is brings his mass and his balance here, and he hits that ground path. Does that make sense?
Right.
So it's not that I have to move the kwa, but there has to be qua integrity so that when I feel his force, it doesn't spill out around my spine. But I'm basically throwing him onto the yang ground path, or he's throwing himself onto the yang ground path. And the technique is a boom, and it's immediate on touch, okay? But when you're here like this, you're always going to have to push him. You're always going to have to do something to him, as opposed to I get out of the way and he hits the ground vector and it projects back into him at an angle at which his line of gravity is going to be pushed out of his space of support, okay? So your real difficulty was the yin hand. The yin is always the hardest. Yin is the seed of non-contestation, so it's the most alien to us. If you pay attention, you almost will never pull. You almost will never pull in your contestation. It does happen, and it's still a clash, but it's almost always pushing and pressing. Do you know what I mean? The yin is very foreign to us, which is why all of your 4 disciplines, all your bedrock practices, they're all yin practices. So take your karma yoga and your servitude, the practice of servitude. It's a yin displacement on a daily basis everywhere you go in life, okay? Why do you say yes to everything? Because you're the one that's going to do the work. You're the one, no matter how tired you are, you're the one that's going to do the work. You're not going to complain. You're the burden. You're the one up on the cross. Okay, you're not the one down below kind of stuff. You're on the cross and you're asking for them to all be forgiven. This is the ultimate yin expression, okay? So yin has to become second nature, but at first it's the opposite. You want your will to power and you want to do something, okay? But this is where that move is. And that is a hard move to get, okay? We'll work on it later today. But as I mentioned earlier, it's the same thing on the sword. It's in my yielding that the sword does what it needs to do naturally. And in my resisting to the yielding in any way makes that sword do something else, okay? Something to the degree that it won't actually function when someone's actually trying to do an atosh on my weapon, okay? Remember that point? It's going to go into your leg when they hit it nice and hard, okay? Just take away, yin is very hard, yin is very important. Hence, Shoshin, humility. Do you see the importance in Budo training, the virtues, all that kind of stuff? Servitude, loyalty, filial piety. These are all unselfing practices and behaviors. And they concentrically are in the art. Okay. All right, good question, good point. But that's what it was, okay? The yang hand is like, especially here when I'm not really projecting, I'm just maintaining integrity. That everyone was pretty good on the yang hand, okay? All right, any other questions or comments? Yep.
It was just interesting to know how asymmetric I was, because on one side I could kind of get
I think it's probably more coordination, to tell you the truth. Okay. I just remember the rolling, like one side I can roll better on, and then the other side I don't roll as good on. That's very common. I can always throw better with my right than with my left, right? I can write better with my right than my left. It'll go away with just the reps. It'll just go away. Coordination problem goes away with repetition, okay? Especially if you're conscientiously trying to take tension out of whatever you're doing, because the uncoordination always is going to manifest with the unnecessary tension, and it's constipating the motion. Okay. Anything else? All right.